Hey everyone, welcome to the episode 3 of the two-player co-op podcast hosted by saltpop.net. Basically what we do is talk about video games, talk about most recent releases, what came out this week, what's going to come out next week, video game news, and spotlight a few games for you guys to look out for if you like to play video games like we do. Craig, how you doing, man?
I am doing good, just recuperating from Salt Lake City Comic Con, and we talked about that not too long ago. Recently, just been playing a lot of games, all trying to do well in school, so it's kind of kicking my ass right now. But
trying to be successful and responsible adult.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could go back to being not responsible and not being an adult.
Yeah, I know those feelings, but going back to when I was 11 and did nothing but play video games.
Oh gosh, did you just remember like summertime, just like sitting on your couch, bare ass naked, and then like just playing Super Nintendo? I remember specifically one memory of being butt naked on the couch. I don't remember why I was butt naked, but I was playing Chrono Cross and just having the best time of my life.
Not a bad game to be playing.
While naked.
Chrono Cross was also one of my summer memories. It was when I go visit my mom for the summer. I wouldn't have anybody, because I didn't know anybody where she lived, so I would always just play video games the whole summer. And I remember with Chrono Cross specifically, she was going through a huge smoothie phase. And she would make me smoothies every time she came home from work, like these huge fruit smoothies. I just like associate berry-filled smoothies with Chrono Cross now.
Ah, gosh, I love that game. That game has like it just has the ability to create so memories.
Games for me. The music on that game is fantastic. And actually, there was we were just talking about that Kotaku article about our biggest note moments in video games. I guess a moment in video games that made you quit forever. And that made you quit that video game forever. And one of mine was a summer moment. Like I went to go visit my mom in Denver, Colorado when she lived there, and I was like, man, awesome. I'll just use the whole summer to beat Final Fantasy X. Long story short, saved over 107-hour game file, and that I'll never beat Nemesis. Let's just say that it'll never happen.
Gosh.
Well,
That's
maybe
like
with the HD
worst.
remix of the game, I might get back into it. I haven't played it in like over 10 years, I feel like.
I'll probably pick it up. Like Final Fantasy X isn't like my least favorite Final Fantasy, but like the combat and like the sphere system is just so good. You can't.
I love the
so
sphere
good.
system in that game. The first time you break the sphere and you start venturing outside of into other people's sphere systems, amazing, man. It's the best. That's like the best feeling when you start, getting other people's skills in their sphere grids, and you just break the 999 hit limit. Speaking of HD remixes, that actually does have to do with a few games that released this week. One of them being Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix. Am I right, Craig?
Yeah, and that game looks really cool. I mean, because I think the coolest thing about that game is it has some of the old, like the new features, or not the new features, but the features that they did in Japan. Because they originally came out with Kingdom Hearts, and then they did the, I can't remember what it's called, it's like the director's cut, basically, where they added a new boss, and like there's 3 extra like keyblades that you can acquire. And
in the first version of the game?
Yeah, in the first version that they just exclusively did in
that's awesome. I didn't even
Japan.
know that.
Like in the Japanese version for the director's cut, they have it to where when you beat Sephiroth, you get like the Masamune. It's like this really long,
that's awesome
keyblade. And then there's a new boss, and I can't remember. And they added, I think, another new boss in this game. But I mean, it looks great. The new the UI, they changed it up to make it a little bit more user friendly.
Maybe a little bit more with the updated games. With the more recent games, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And then like another cool thing is it has the Game Boy Advance Kingdom Hearts game, but that was then remade onto the PS2, and they made that HD and made it look really pretty. But this game is just so many feelings just watching this trailer.
So many memories.
I know.
If you're listening to podcasts, we usually put on visuals with the vidcast that we do on our Twitch TV. So we're just watching the trailer now. And then, as you saw there, they also added Chain of Memories and 358 over 2 days, which were Game Boy Advance, and I believe DS games
Yeah,
that they
DS
redid.
game.
I know they redid Chain of Memories in the 3D vein of the original games, and they just added it all into one complete collection for the PlayStation 3 and did an HD remix of it. Craig, play much Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, just a little bit. You just a little bit.
Yeah.
I play a lot of Kingdom Hearts. I played so much Kingdom Hearts. I remember playing like the Game Boy Advance version like during school when nothing was going on. Like I would be in class and it's just like, okay, we're talking about something I don't really care too much about. And most of the time I'd either be playing Fire Emblem or Kingdom Hearts, and everybody, all my friends knew that I love Kingdom Hearts. It's just such a fun game. It's such a weird concept if you really think about it.
Yeah, it really is sort of the mishmash of Disney characters and then sort of the quintessential Square Enix characters that you can think of, sort of, and then putting Final Fantasy characters and all the Square Enix characters together with all these different Disney characters. It is really weird.
Do you remember your first impression when you heard about Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, I thought it was dumb, to be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, it was a long time
Too.
ago, so I was like, Disney characters, I don't want to play with Goofy and Donald. I mean, it's not that I hate Disney characters or anything. It just seemed a little too kiddish.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a stupid term to use, but it's most accurate for how I felt back then. I was just like,
Yeah.
that's below me. I'm more interested in SOCOM 2 or what have you. And I feel like that's how a lot of people feel with the Kingdom Hearts series. I feel like they don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's a really fun game though. I remember playing it because I loved RPGs. I love Square Enix, everything Square Enix does or did back then, and I played it and I was addicted from the get-go. The gameplay is so much fun, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 just made everything better.
Oh, that game is so good.
I mean, the story's convoluted and makes no sense. Especially when you hit Kingdom Hearts 2, you're like, what in the
I know.
hell are you talking about?
I think they were just making it up as they went. They're just like, oh, let's just start
Yeah,
doing
he's
this.
heartless now, so let's make another version of him. And there's like 3 versions of the main bad guy that you have to beat in every game. And, Sora has a doppelganger, but he doesn't look like Sora. But he's like, he's heartless, but he's not. But okay, let's just do that. And you're like, I don't know what's going on, but I have Keyblades, which are pretty cool. I've actually tried to read a timeline of the whole Kingdom Hearts series and make sense of the story. And even like having somebody walk my hand, I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
I know.
It makes no sense. Why? What do you people? How did you even come up with this? It's Kingdom Hearts 1 is pretty easy to follow. It really is. Kingdom Hearts 2 is dumb as far as the story goes, but the gameplay is incredible. I mean, it's one of the, and if you grew up on Disney movies, you have to play these games. They're incredible. I mean, all those feelings, seeing all those characters interact with each other, seeing Final Fantasy and Disney characters interact with each other. If you grew up on Square Enix and Disney movies, it's one of the most perfect amalgams you could think of. And of course, they released they announced Kingdom Hearts 3 at E3 this year, but that's a while off, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be
They
like
said
in
it.
2 years.
Yeah, don't expect that anytime soon, but at least we know it's being made, which is great. Are you going to pick this up, Craig?
I probably will because, like, I can't resist it. The fact that it's an HD remix, and because you never know when there'll be that time where you're like, oh, I want to play this game again, so I have a great version of it, so why not play it? And besides, like, my favorite moment, I would say, in the Kingdom Hearts series is probably in the first one when you fight Riku one-on-one.
Oh, yeah,
that moment.
Riku is an awesome I don't want to say antagonist, like anti-hero, I guess. Like
He's the anti-hero, yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, man. And the thing is, I looked at this game, I'm like, PlayStation 3, I mean, PlayStation 4 is coming out in how many months? Like 2 more months now? Why don't you have it for the PlayStation 4? Which maybe they will. But I think I'll buy it because I'm not going to buy a PlayStation 4 right off the bat. So it feels like it's worth it to me. I'm going to buy Xbox One first. I know you're going to buy PlayStation 4 first. So we're a little bit balanced there.
Yeah.
But I think I'll buy it. And problem is, I beat Kingdom Hearts 1 like a year ago. And I wanted to play through Kingdom Hearts 2 again, but my PlayStation 2 broke. And I haven't beaten those other offshoot games of the portable versions, so I might just buy it for that.
I don't know. Like I tried playing the 365 over 2 day games, and that one isn't that fun. The PSP one is actually really cool, and
I love Birth by Sleep.
Yeah,
have
Birth by Sleep's really fun too. I would say if I were to play any of them and recommend it to any like people who are interested in the Kingdom Hearts series, I'd recommend the PSP version because that one is the one that's more
it's a prequel
story
to
driven.
all of it. It's basically the start of all the story, and it's still pretty convoluted, but
Yeah.
not as bad as Kingdom Hearts 2.
No.
And nothing is as bad as Kingdom Hearts 2.
There's just no answers. You're just like, I have all these questions and no answers.
Yeah, they're like, and we're like Kingdom Hearts 3, and then if you get like if you do enough in the second game, you get that trailer, that teaser for Kingdom Hearts 3, where they're wearing that badass Keyblade armor.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
holy shit! But then like 10 years later, they haven't released it. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, that came out this week. I don't know. I think maybe I'll buy it at some point in the future. They also released this week the Elder Scrolls Anthology, which is all the Elder Scrolls game in one package. And not only is it Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, but it's also all of the add-ons, the official add-ons for each game.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get every single Elder Scrolls. You can get the complete experience, and I think it's $80, which is a pretty good deal considering Skyrim Legendary Edition, which it comes with, is going to be like what, $60? So pay another $20.
Yeah, probably 60 or 40 or something like that.
Yeah, and you can get the rest. That came out this week. I didn't know about it, so I'm glad I was able to look that up and find out about that. I think that's a pretty good deal, and to put on your shelves would be really, really cool. Besides that, not much else came out this week, and there's not much else coming out next week besides a huge release that is going to dominate people's lives.
Seriously.
And that comes in the form of Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, I didn't even know this game was coming out this soon. Did you, Craig?
I didn't. Like, my friend who I work with who's like obsessed with the Grand Theft Auto games, he told me, hey, 5 more days. I'm like, 5 more days to what? It's like Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out. Like, it's just like, oh, crap, that's coming out already? Like, it almost feels like they just announced it like a couple of months, like maybe like 7 months ago or something like that. And I just think it's cool that's coming out so soon.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I loved Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I think it was one of my favorite games I ever played. Again, that was another summer moment for me where I just did everything in that game. I got all the packages, which at the time I thought was impossible. Like, why would you waste your time getting packages? But it's just one of those things I wanted to accomplish, and I did it. And I loved Grand Theft Auto 3, and I loved Grand Theft Auto San Andreas a lot. I loved taking over like areas of the city and having it belong to me. When Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, it was really trying for me. It was hard for me to play through the game. It was hard for me to play through the story. Mm-hmm. People bugging me on my cell phone all the time. I felt a little overwhelmed. There's this theory in video gaming. It's like you give the gamer too much to do, and they don't know what to do anymore. They feel like too overwhelmed to even play the game. I usually don't feel like that. I usually don't feel that way, especially with Grand Theft Auto games. But in Grand Theft Auto 4, I did. I didn't even complete it. I think I got like a fourth of the way through. But after seeing most of the trailers and most of the gameplay videos and seeing the map recently get released on the internet, I want this game really badly, man. I think I'm just gonna go pick it up. I hadn't even budgeted for it. I'm like, man, it's coming out Tuesday. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get that. And let's go ahead and play it. And I'll just wait until Pokemon comes out, right?
Yeah, really.
Just play that until Pokemon comes out. I mean,
there's so much to do. Like, it looks like there's so much to do in that game, and like I don't think I'll pick it up. I'll probably play it maybe in like a year or two, just because I'm not the biggest like Grand Theft Auto fan. But it looks really cool, and there's just so much to do, and it looks fun. It looks great too. Like, I didn't play 4 at all, just because I heard it was like there's a lot of problems with it, like bug wise. So I just didn't want to deal with it.
I mean, I didn't have any bug problems with it. I played it on the 360 for a while. It's not like I didn't play a lot of it. I mean, I got through fourth of the game, but there's a lot to do in that game, as Odin's saying right now. And
3 months of your life gone.
Yeah. And for those listening to the podcast, we also have people chatting with us in Twitch stream. So if we bring up people who are making comments, that's what we're talking about. But Grand Theft Auto 4, it just didn't have that magic that Vice City and San Andreas have for me. But Grand Theft Auto
San
5,
Andreas is awesome.
yeah, San Andreas was amazing. I still think I know Vice City is my favorite Grand Theft Auto to this date, but I think 5 has the potential to overcome. I just feel like it's a return to form for them.
Well, doesn't 5 have like 3 characters that you can play as?
Yeah, that you can interswap throughout the campaign. You can swap one out for the other whenever you feel like. If I read it correctly last time I was updated on that. And it's really cool. You get all these different walks of life as far as the story is concerned, which I'm really for. You also, the map is huge. There's a huge city. There's tons of things to do, and I'm all for it. It looks like San Andreas with a better San Andreas with how big that map is, and I'm really interested in and with current gen graphics. So really interested in playing that, and I'll probably pick it up. And you'll probably this time next week, you can hear me talking about it. Hopefully. Are you going to pick it up? You said you're not a big Grand Theft Auto fan. Are you persuaded at all by the trailers and what you've seen of the game?
The game looks great. I can't deny it. Like, the game looks awesome and everything. I just have so many other games that I need to play through before I start a game that'll take me a really long time. Like I said, there'll be a time where there's like a drought of no games, and once I'm done playing all my games, I'll be like, well, shit, what am I going to do now? And that's when you're like, hey, remember how cool Grand Theft Auto 5 was? And I'll be like, I never played that game. And then we'll have a conversation like we did with XCOM about how you need to play the game.
You need to play XCOM.
I know.
You just need to play it. And I'll play it with you. Like I said, we'll stream it sometime. Maybe this weekend or something. But seriously, you need to play XCOM.
Okay, maybe we'll do it.
I don't even care. No excuses anymore. You're playing through it.
Okay, here's what we'll do. When we stream, before we stream Amnesia, we should stream like an hour of XCOM or something.
Okay. For those who are wondering, we're going to try to stream XCOM on our Twitch TV channel, or not XCOM, and the new Amnesia game. What's it called? Machine for Pigs or Machine of Pigs?
Let me just get the exact name. Damn cat.
Bones, what you doing, man?
I'll Bones be bonesing. It's top sellers. Amnesia, a Machine for Pigs.
A Machine for Pigs. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Yeah, the first Amnesia game really screwed me up. So we'll see how that goes. All right, who's gonna play it? You or I?
I think because I get more scared, I'll play it.
Okay. And I guess I'll just comment along with it. All right. And we'll keep you updated on our Facebook, Salt Pop. There's facebook.com/saltpop. If you ever want to know about updates and when we're going to go live and when we're streaming, you can go there, or you can follow us on Twitch TV. They'll always tell you when we're live. So that's it for the new releases. You want to talk about some video game news, Craig? Yeah.
I think for me, something that's really excited is that recently Sony just had their I guess it's a Tokyo Game Show that just happened.
Did it? I didn't even know.
There was something Sony did, and they released a very cool, I guess, extension towards the PS4. It's basically called the PS Vita TV, where it's
that's right.
Yeah, it's this little white block that you can plug into your PS4, and you can play PS Vita games, and it also allows you to basically stream your PS4 game to another TV.
So clarify this for me. When you say play PS Vita games, do you mean play PS Vita games on your big screen TV?
Yeah, on your big screen TV. Like, there's some games you can't play if it requires a lot of like touch, like pad interaction, because that's like a big thing with the PS Vita. But like most of the games that I like, you probably won't need the touchpad. I don't even use the touchpad at all. But yeah, it allows you to play certain PS Vita games while using your PS4, and then you can stream your PS4 games. So like, for example, let's say Audrey's wanting to watch a TV on the big TV, and then you go into your man room and you turn on your big plasma 4,500-inch TV, and you want to play NAC or whatever, and you can stream your game to your TV by, I guess, hooking it up by some certain way. I'm not sure the details, but
so no matter where the PlayStation 4 is located at, you can potentially stream it to any television in your home. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's basically the device boosts a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity with an Ethernet, USB, and HDMI out port, and basically within like your house parameter, you can play either a PS4 game or a
Now,
PS Vita game.
can you play? This might sound crazy. You can't play PS4 games to Vita. I know that's a lot of. I've
Yeah,
seen that question float around a lot.
actually, they're working on it. If I remember correctly, there's remote play, and they're trying to make it to where you can play, you can stream your PS4 game to your Vita, and there's certain games you can actually do that right now. I I don't remember what. I think the only games that you can do right now are like certain sports games and like
Okay.
MLB The Show, but let me just double check and make sure that I'm correct.
Okay, sure. And that's a huge thing for Sony because I mean Microsoft doesn't have anything like that for their Xbox One. I mean Xbox One is a solely console experience, and whereas Sony's splitting it between console and portable, and it's hard for me to say which is the right route if you can consider one right and one wrong. Also, along with that, Craig, didn't they release a new version of the Vita or announce a new version rather?
Yeah, they announced a new, a slimmer version of the Vita. People have posted pictures on it and gotten like a pretty good, like up close picture of it. You can look it up online by just googling PS Vita Slim. And some of the things that are really cool is that it's obviously a little bit thinner. A lot of the buttons are different. The biggest thing that I would say, if you have an original Vita, don't buy this. So the screen on the PS Vita right now, it's a 5-inch OLED display. And on the PS Vita Slim, because they wanted to make it cheaper and lighter, they made the screen an LCD screen instead of an OLED.
So it's not as crisp.
It's not as crisp. Like, it still looks good. Like, people have talked about how like it still looks great. But if you have an original PS Vita, like, because it's going to be, I think.
Now is the
let's
screen
see.
bigger? The screen's bigger for the PS Vita Slim.
It looks bigger when people like kind of
Compare it because I saw
compared
some
it side by
I
side.
would bring it up on the stream, but it's really negligible if you're just looking at it. I think it's more of a feeling difference. It looks pretty. I know that. Like Craig said, if you just want to Google a PS Vita Slim, it's a cheaper option, correct?
Yeah, it's a cheaper option.
And which is great because you have the holiday season. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are coming out. Wii U's are going cheaper, I think. I know they're coming out with the Nintendo 2DS, which is a cheaper option for handheld. I'm sure Sony,
Which you've talked about.
which we talked about in our first episode, and I'm sure Sony's wanting to keep up, with Nintendo there. So they'll release a cheaper version that's has less. I want to say, less functionality, just like the 2DS has less functionality over the 3DS. So you can look that up if you guys like.
Yeah, so the PS Vita price, it starts off at $190, and I guess the original PS Vita is at $250. So you're getting like a cheaper version of the portable console. It just doesn't have as good of a screen, but it still looks really good. Like, it really does look very impressive. I mean, the design of the system reminds me of like a very smooth looking PSP. And it looks very cool. And then that the Vita TV, which allows you to play Vita games and stream your PS4 games to different TVs. But like, I don't know how the connectivity works, but it's only $100. So a lot of really impressive stuff that Sony's been unveiling within the last couple of months.
And it's worth mentioning. At Salt Lake Comic Con, we had a booth where we saw Pop and Graywell Entertainment, which is a local record store, entertainment store, basically. They sell video games as well. We basically had a chalkboard at our booth, and on our last day, on the busiest day, we had a question that asked everybody, Xbox One versus PlayStation 4. And I gotta say, I really thought that Xbox was just gonna kill it, but PlayStation 4 smoked Xbox with the votes that we saw at Salt Lake Comic Con, and there was 50,000 tickets sold altogether, and there were I believe 60,000 people there on Saturday. A lot of people coming by voting. We had some cheating People, we had a lot of cheating actually, and not just on Microsoft. Everybody, both sides cheated. I remember
Every side cheats.
I erased a bunch of votes for Xbox One because one guy came over and gave him like 40 votes, and then as soon as I did that, somebody came along and gave like 30 votes to PlayStation 4, like they needed it, and PlayStation 4 won by 20 votes in the end, which is I think like a 20% victory over Xbox One as far as votes go. And where I'm standing, I'm not as there. People there were really Xbox or PlayStation 4, and I'm just both look great to me. I just was more impressed with Xbox One at San Diego Comic-Con. It's not like I thought PlayStation has a bad product. I think they have a great product. I was really impressed by it. I just came home feeling more secure and better about the Xbox.
Yeah, it's like you said. It like for me, like both consoles are very impressive. You can't deny the fact that each of them have their own merits and what makes them individually better than the other. And like we've talked about this before. When it comes to choosing the console of what that you want to pick, it comes down to what your play style is and what kind of games you like to play. Because for me, a lot of the exclusive games that I like to play, I looked at like past 360 exclusive titles and then past PS3 exclusive titles, and 100% of the time, all the exclusive titles that I really enjoy are going to be on the PS or were on the PS3. So my logic behind wanting to be more on the PS4 is because the exclusive titles that I already love on the PS4 or the PS3 are more than likely going to be extended to the PS4. And like they've done a great job. A lot of those companies, like SquareSoft, by saying like we're going to have titles on both the the Xbox One and PS4.
Such as Kingdom Hearts 3, which will be on both consoles.
So there's going to be games though that are going to be exclusive on each system, and you just have to pick which one you prefer, honestly. But both look very impressive in their own merit.
And for me, it's not so much which console I prefer as so much which console I want to buy first.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, I have a PlayStation 3, Wii, and Xbox 360 right now. I don't have a Wii U. I haven't found a compelling reason to buy one yet besides Wind Waker HD and probably the new Smash
really
Brothers game. So I might pick up a Wind Waker HD bundle, Wii U bundle. It's down the road. It's only $200, I think. Right? 200, 300? I can't remember.
I think it's 200.
200 is really reasonable, especially because PlayStation 4 is going to be 400 and Xbox One is going to be 500. So yeah, I mean, I'm for Xbox One. I like what they can do, the possibilities with the Kinect. Being able to stream to Twitch natively is a huge selling point for me. I do know that PlayStation 4 is planning to pick that up as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for Sony. I think Sony's has the huge issue of competing with Nintendo on a portable market and then Microsoft on a console market. So they're really fighting two battlefronts there, and it might be a little tough for them. But hey, who knows? They might come out on top, right?
I think with a lot of the games that are currently out on the PS Vita aren't that great. I mean, there's a lot of good select titles that I own that like I love, and it's like for me to buy those few games isn't reason enough for me to buy the Vita, so I'm okay with like buying it anyways. But they're coming out with a bunch of new games. A lot of indie games, interestingly enough, are going to be coming onto the PS Vita and the PS4. So that
they really
is a huge
pushed that
selling
for
point.
E3. I remember. I know that Spelunky came out on the PS Vita, which is. I was like, man, I just want to buy a PS Vita to play Spelunky portably. There was another game I can't remember. There's a lot of ports for the PlayStation Vita that makes it worth it, or perhaps makes it a better selling point. So think about that in your recent purchases coming up, because the Vita and PlayStation 4 functionality may be something that you'd be interested in. There was some recent developments in the Pokemon world. I know we talked about this last episode, but it is gearing up. The release is a month away. And they released some new photos that were leaked from a magazine that it came out today. I'll go ahead and bring that up on stream for those of you listening. What we're looking at here is a version of Garchomp. The Mega Garchomp is what he is. He looks amazing. Have you seen Mega Garchomp before, Craig?
No, I haven't.
What do you think of him, man?
Sick though.
He's got huge size for hands. He's just bigger. more spikes, basically a Garchomp
More
with
spikes.
with more spikes. Here you're going to see the new version of Mega Mewtwo, which brings really interesting questions to me because I thought we already saw Mega Mewtwo. I thought they already released a version of Mega Mewtwo. Now, you brought up the idea, Craig, and a lot of people have had this idea that there will be more than one version of Pokemon that can be Mega. So you can have Mega Mewtwo 1 and Mega Mewtwo 2, or perhaps the Mewtwo version that they've released, the image for Mewtwo is different. Maybe it's a different Pokemon. I mean, we really don't know if this is Mega Mewtwo. It could go either way. Have you seen Mega Mewtwo before, Craig?
Yeah, I saw the original version, I guess Mega Mewtwo, the first version, and that's very interesting because it makes me think that if there is in fact more than one Mega Evolution or just two Mega Evolutions for certain Pokemon, it makes me think like how are you able to unlock those different Mega Evolutions, and also if there's like some sort of like man, if they had this, I'd be so excited for this game, but like a talent tree for your Pokemon to where like you can unlock certain abilities, and depending on which route you go, it unlocks like your Mega Evolution. But that's way too complicated for Pokemon.
Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y.
That would be interesting. That would be cool.
I just thought of that because if you can see on screen, there is the box art for X and Y right next to it, and I'm thinking, well, if this is with genetics, right? Maybe you add an X or maybe you add a Y to a Pokemon, and it changes them into different Mega forms.
Dude, I think you're onto something because, like if you, as you said, like on the screen right now, that has Mewtwo Mega Evolution, the new version that they're showing right now. It has the X on there, and then up above on the right-hand corner, you can see the original Mewtwo Mega Evolution. So I think you're onto something, honestly.
I mean,
with that.
And there is something there to be said there as well, because this Mega Evolution of Mewtwo is more physical. In fact, if you see one of the screenshots right here, where I'm circling with my mouse, and for those who are listening, it looks like Mewtwo is kicking the other Pokemon, which to me seems like a more physical Mega Evolution, whereas the original Mega Evolution of Mewtwo looked more mental. His head is enlarged, his physical appearance has diminished a lot. So maybe it will accentuate different versions of each Pokemon for each different Mega Evolution, which if you've done that, Game Freak, I will applaud you.
Yeah, seriously.
And I hope we're onto something there. It's not something I just considered that would be awesome.
They also might have it to be where like the item that you use, the Mega Evolution, like there might be like a caveat where like it's like this is like a physical Mega Evolution, or this one enhances the psyche or like the elemental power or something like that.
Yeah, just enhance maybe special attack or physical attack or what have you, different attributes. So that may be something that we should look out for in the future. One of the more exciting moments was this page, which is the second evolution for the Generation 6 starters. Chespin starter, which is the leaf Pokemon, is round. He's like a ball with spike. It's really weird. I'm not a fan of it. Fennekin's second evolution is strange to me. It looks like a she, but I could just say it is standing.
She's sexy.
It's standing straight up on its hind legs. It looks like it can use its. And every fire Pokemon is like this. I feel like they start off on four legs most of the time, and then they end up standing upright. But she has a stick in her tail. Maybe that's for balance, to stand up on her hind legs. Froakie went in a really interesting way. He looks a lot more aerodynamic. If you can see his little cloud necklace that he has, or his little cloud mane, is a little longer in the back. He's a lot more skinny and aerodynamic. He looks a lot more chill. His eyes are half closed. He's just like, "What's up, man?"
He's stoned.
Yeah. I don't. How do you feel? Is this the first time you've seen these evolutions, Craig?
Yeah, is this the second tier evolution?
These are the second evolution. This is the mid evolution for each of them.
Man, I don't know how I feel about it. Like I guess the grass type one looks interesting and fun. I think it's gonna be a popular one, and then I don't know. Like they all look interesting, and
I'm really interested to see where they go from here. My thinking is, if what we've heard is true, then I will get Fennekin, the grass starter, which is my least favorite of the Gen 6. However, hear me out here, Craig.
Okay.
I do want to get him, and then you're able to get one of the original starters, correct?
Yeah.
So I want Squirtle. I don't want Froakie is my favorite of the Gen 6, but I also don't want to get 2 water starters. So I'll get Squirtle as my Gen 1 starter, and then there is an event when the game comes out where you can get Torchic, which is Generation 3 starter.
Yeah, Generation 3.
And that will be my Fire Pokemon starter. So I'll have all 3 different types based off of starters that you can get right at the beginning of the game, basically. So there it is. I guess Fennekin, you and I are going to be chilling. I think you look stupid, but we're going to make this work. We're gonna muscle through this and make it work.
And Torchic is adorable.
Torchic is awesome. And Blaziken,
I don't know how you could evolve him, but
you're going to have the new Blazonite, so I can evolve to Mega Blaziken. And then I'm sure I'll be able to evolve Mega Blastoise. And it's been rumored that there is a complete list of the all the Pokemon that can Mega Evolve out there.
Oh, that's cool.
And they have, if it's true, then every starter in every generation will have a Mega Evolution, which is pretty sweet.
That's really cool.
Dragonite was listed on there. Lapras was listed on there, which is really interesting to me. Really, and I'm definitely thinking those single Pokemon that don't have pre-evolutions or other evolutions will definitely they'll focus on them. Aggron has a Mega Evolution. It's gonna be really interesting. Tyranitar Mega Evolution is gonna be really cool to see. One more picture for you guys. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Here's some new Pokemon for you, Craig. There's some new Pokemon over here. These ones look like skunks a little bit on the left.
That black and white one, not that one. The left one, mostly black one. Oh, it looks so cute.
It looks a little bit like a skunk. It looks like the same Pokemon. Correct me if I'm wrong. With little variations. I don't know what's going to work out there. And then what I'm more interested in is the new fossil Pokemon on the right page. One of them looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, does it not?
Oh, totally.
And one looks like a Brontosaurus with wings on its head.
Oh my gosh, he looks adorable.
I am so excited. I am midnight release for this. I'm just going to play all night. I'm just going to be honest with you, Craig. I'm going to play all night. Midnight release, let's do it. I'm ready for it. And those are all the pictures I have for Are you going to buy I know you have a 3DS, correct, Craig?
Yeah, I do.
Are you going to buy Pokemon?
Yeah. For sure. That this new Pokemon game just looks like Game Freak's put so much heart and dedication to this game. I mean, they're going through every single previous game to make new 3D models for each Poke evolution. So I just think it looks awesome. All
right, yeah, and let's see. All right, so we're done with Pokemon. We'll stop talking about Pokemon for now. There is one thing I wanna note here as well. Is the Street Fighter documentary that is coming out, and or is out. You can actually watch it on YouTube. It is called I Am Street Fighter 25th Anniversary Documentary. Sort of goes over all the people who were there in the beginning that got really big. They share their stories of when they first played Street Fighter, which I thought was awesome. They're like, oh, I played it in a 7-Eleven. Oh, I played it in a movie rental place, you know. And I'm just like, oh man, first time I played Street Fighter 2 was in a Smith's, you know.
Oh yeah.
And they just go over it. I mean, they're talking about the HD remix of the Street Fighter 2 game. You know, it's just all their experiences. And I love Street Fighter documentaries. If you know anything about me, I love Street Fighter. So this was really fun to watch. It's an hour and 12 minutes long. Like I said, you can watch the entire thing on YouTube. What do you think? When was the first? Do you remember? Did you ever?
Yeah, I remember the first time I played Street Fighter 2. It was so my uncle Brad. He gave us his Super Nintendo, and with it he had Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Super Mario World, and Street Fighter 2. I remember me and my brother playing that all the time. We had an old TV where you turned it on by like turning the dial, and that dial was like also the volume. So I remember staying up and playing that game with not just me and my brother, but with all our friends. We do like little mini tournaments all the time. And yeah, like, I just remember playing that in my basement all the time after getting my uncle's Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I took losses really hard
Yeah.
in Street Fighter 2. I mean, especially when you go to an area where it's in a public venue. Um, and I just wanted to win really badly, and I sucked at it back then. I sucked. I always play the fighting games more for fun than for competition back then. Now I'm very competitive, and I'm all right at it. I'm okay. And I mean, if you're interested, even if you're a casual player of the Street Fighter series, it's worth a watch. It's really, really interesting. It's really interesting to see the heart and soul that people put into that game, into that community, and to see where Street Fighter has come, how far it's come, and the roots of it. So if you want to check that out, again, available on YouTube. Let's see. Have you seen the new movie Riddick?
No, I haven't. I really like the pitch. Is it Pitch Black?
It's Pitch Black, yeah.
Yeah, I really like
Pitch
Pitch Black a lot.
Yeah, I like Pitch Black a lot too. I really like it. It's like a 90s. I mean, it came out in 2000, I believe. It's like a 90s feel horror flick. It's got one-liners. It can be cheesy at times, but I don't know. I really like it. I haven't seen Riddick yet, but when Chronicles of Riddick, the second movie came out, which I was not a fan of, they actually had a video game release for that movie. I think it was called Chronicles of Riddick Butcher Bay. It was a Butcher Bay game. And Vin Diesel, for the new movie, has brought together the original team of developers that did that game. And they were going to make a third installment. There was a second installment. It was terrible. I remember playing Butcher Bay, the original game, and it was actually really fun. The second game was bad. But now they're bringing them together to have a third Riddick game. And Vin Diesel was like, Riddick's really his baby, man. He talks really passionately. And when I see interviews with him, I'm kind of weirded by Vin Diesel. Like, I'm like, are you really passionate about this? Are you weird? I don't know how to take you. But he seems like he really loves the Riddick universe, and he really loves the things that he's involved with.
Well, he's just a nerd, just like the rest of us.
Yeah. I mean, he plays Dungeons and Dragons and everything, so... Which... Chronicles of Riddick was like a D&D campaign. So that's something to look forward to, hopefully. Hopefully it plays a little bit like the first game, and it can be a little bit more fun. In other news, recently, this week, I believe today, it was announced, actually, a new Humble Bundle, right, Craig?
Yeah, the new Humble Bundle.
Do you want to talk about that?
Out. Yeah, let me hurry up and pull it up. I thought I had it up. Just a bunch of the games that are on it is amazing. Is it the Electronic Frontier? What's the official name for this Humble Bundle?
It's Humble Bundle 9.
Humble Bundle 9.
Yeah, and if you see it on the stream, for those who aren't watching the stream, the games include Trine 2, the complete story, Mark of the Ninja, Eats Munchies Beta, and Brutal Legend. If you pay more than the average, which at the current moment is $4.52, you get FTL, Faster Than Light, and Fez, which every single one of these games is incredible in its own right. I mean,
and it comes with the soundtrack, too.
And it comes with the soundtrack of each game. You can see they're trying to both soundtracks, Brutal Legend, FTL, and Fez soundtracks. Brutal Legend has an awesome soundtrack since it's based on metal, the whole metal culture. Mark of the Ninja is one of the best stealth games I've played in a long time. Trine 2 is a really cool puzzle platforming game. Faster Than Light, you manage your own ship, and it's brutal. That game is so damn hard.
So hard.
It's so hard. And Fez is a really, really unique perspective platformer where you have to flip the perspective into 3 dimensions. It's a 2-dimensional platformer, but you can flip it into another dimension. I don't want to say dimension. I would say another perspective. And I guess it technically is another dimension, depending on how you look at it. But you flip it into another perspective, and you can advance further on the level that you're at. Do you want to tell us sort of what Humble... I mean, we talk about Humble Bundle a lot in our old podcast, but I don't think this is the first introduction of it on our on 2-player co-op. You want to talk about it a little bit, Craig?
Yeah, it's just a really cool idea. Basically, you can spend as much money as you want, whether it's $1 or 50 cents. I don't know if there's like a minimum payment, but you can pay as low as you want. And basically, you decide how that money is distributed, whether you want to go all to the developers, some to a charity, or to the Humble Bundle site itself. But there's more incentive to, I guess, spend more. As you can see, like you have Faster Than Light and Fez, which are both great games that you're able to, I guess, unlock and play by just basically paying $4.54.
More than the average of people who are buying. And it's worth noting that these games aren't cheap on Steam. I believe Mark of the Ninja goes for $20 when it's not on sale. Same with Trine 2. Fez goes for $20 or $15, I believe. And same with Brutal Legend. And FTL 2. I believe FTL is more like $10, I think. Maybe 15.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
20.
about like 10, 15.
I can't remember. Yeah, to be honest, you're saving so much. I mean, I buy every single Humble Bundle that comes out. Every single one. And it's just, I mean, it's great. It's great to spend a little bit more than the average just to help the charity or to help the developers. And there you can see, I mean, there's WotC, Child's Play, and the Electronic Frontier Foundation, which are the different charities. Child's Play is a really great one. We've actually done a 24-hour marathon to support Child's Play before.
Cheat Codes for Charity.
It was, Cheat Codes for Charity, which we may be doing again in February. We'll definitely update you on that if that does happen. As you can see on the website right here or on the stream, you get to pick how much goes to each charity if you want. If you want it to go to the Humble Bundle website, or if you want it to go to the developers, you get to pick how much goes to where, and you can always be updated. I mean, they have a Humble Weekly bundle that they always do, and then this is one of the bigger ones that takes about a couple weeks to go through, and then they take a couple week break. I have every single one of these games, and I gotta say, every single one of them is incredible on there. It's really fun. And the beautiful thing about Humble Bundles is they release more games as time goes by. So this isn't a set in stone amount of games that they're going to be coming out with. They'll add more as the Humble Bundle goes, and there's less time to add to it, which I'm really interested, because those are great games. I want to see what they add to it. And if you buy it now, and if you pay more than the average now, you'll get access to all of the games that they add later, despite if the average contribution goes up. So it's worth it to buy it earlier, and then you get all the games later at a cheaper price if that's something you're more interested in, getting games at a frugal rate. Or if you don't mind, you're just like, well, I want to pay $10 and support all this, then you'll probably get it anyways. As far as that, these are redeemable on Steam, and I think this is a great segue into our next topic, which is kind of crazy for me, because we have a pretty nice group of friends that all have Steam games, right, Craig?
Yeah, for sure.
and there was some news that was released recently that we will be able to maybe share our library. Did you read any about this, Craig?
I didn't read it much. I briefly scanned the article that you had sent through the chat, and it looks very similar to what Xbox or Microsoft is planning to do for the Xbox One, where you could, I know it's you can add a total of 10 family members or friends that you can basically share your library with them. And
that was with Xbox One.
Yeah,
right?
With the Xbox One, yeah. And now they're doing it with Steam, which is really cool and also very interesting, because if I decide to play one of Trent's thousands of games or whatever, for some reason, all the achievements that I unlock are my achievements that I unlock, in regards to what Trent has. It's just a very cool, interesting idea. I don't know if I wonder if there's some sort of subscription that they're going to plan on doing with it. So I don't know the entire details behind it.
Yeah, and I can talk about a little bit about that. They have a frequently asked questions already on it, because they know a lot of questions are going to be asked. Like Craig was saying, they actually, a Steam account may authorize family sharing on up to 10 devices at a given time. Now, when it says family sharing, it's family and close friends. So anybody you trust, basically, is your family, right? You can enable it in one of two ways. You can either locally enable sharing in account settings with family sharing in devices, or remotely respond to a user's Steam request to share your previously installed games via email. You'll have the option to right-click on your friend's library and ask to borrow the game or have access to it, which is really cool. It's like, hey, I want to play this game. It sends a request to the person on their Steam, and they'll be able to play it there. If you want to be part of the beta, which they're releasing, you just have to like the group, which is the Steam Family Sharing. If you go to the group on Steam and you like their group, or you join their group, then you have access to the beta. Libraries are going to be shared and borrowed in their entirety. You can't just share specific games. Not all Steam games will be available for sharing. If it requires a third-party key or or subscription, you won't be able to share it. You can't both play at the same time, which is a huge concern, right? A shared library may only be accessed by one user at a time, so there's that to consider. As a lender, you may always access and play your games at any time. If you decide to start playing when a friend is already playing one of your games, he or she will be given a few minutes to either purchase the game or quit playing. So it's not like you're locked out of your game if somebody else is playing it. You always have the priority, being the owner of the game. And then one that I thought of is who owns and can access the DLC and in-game content associated with the borrowed title. Their answer, a borrower will have access to the lender's DLC, which is awesome.
That's really cool.
Like, think about that. Like, Civilization 5, which with all of its expansion packs is pretty expensive. To buy the game with all the expansion packs, pretty expensive. But now one of my friends, which I own all the expansions, they can just say, oh man, I want to play all that game with all the DLC. Or Borderlands, if you have a friend who has all the DLC in the season pass, they'll be able to borrow that and play it. It's incredible. And they also say borrowers may not purchase DLC for a base game they don't own. So it sounds like they really think about this. You can't share region-restricted content across regions, and that's basically the nitty-gritty of the frequently asked questions. This sounds awesome because I know I have my Steam library is way too big as it is. I don't even want to think about it. But now I feel really good about how many games I've purchased and not necessarily have played, because now with all my friends who I'm really close with, I'm going to give them access to my library and they can start playing all the games that I have that I haven't necessarily played, and they can tell me, oh man, you need to play that game. It was so much fun. And then I'll go play it. It's a genius idea. I'm really excited for it. And then, letting people borrow my DLC, play games with DLC that I have. It's going to be a great experience, man. I'm really excited for it. And hopefully I can get in the beta, and hopefully you guys can get in the beta, and then we can start sharing games, because that would be awesome. And I think, and Craig linked it in the chat for if you want to read the frequently asked questions yourself, or if you're listening to this, you can go to store.steampowered.com/sharing. That is where they released that news, and you can read the frequently asked questions about it. I think we're going to go on to game spotlights now. I'm going to have you lead the way on this, Craig. You have a game that you brought to my attention that I wasn't aware of that has a Kickstarter, right? Do you want to go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah, this game is really cool. So, some history behind before I announce the title of the game. The developers behind this game is the guys who created or developed DuckTales Remastered. The game, I'll link it into the chat, is a game that everybody should help kickstart. It's Shantae, Half-Genie Hero, which is a game that was originally, I guess, created on the Game Boy Color, then was on the Game Boy Advance, and then to the Game Boy DS, and is now going to be a Steam game. And it just looks really fun and really cool. I love the way WayForward does their art. It just looks amazing.
And what did WayForward work on? What else did they work on?
They worked on they did The Boy and the Blob, like I said, DuckTales Remastered, a lot of those Shantae games. And then I'm trying to remember some of the other games that they've developed over the last couple of years. They've done a bunch of really cool games.
Now, you said the new art, is it done by the people who did the Skullgirls fighting game? Is that correct?
Yeah, so the artist behind Skullgirls is the guy who did the artwork for all of the characters in this game. And if you guys have ever watched Skullgirls at all, like somebody streaming it or how it's played, a video or anything like that, you just know it looks really beautiful. The game just plays fluid. I just am really excited about this game because I haven't played a Shantae game in a really long time. Like, oh, here we go. They talked about how they made Contra.
They did Adventure Time games for DS. They did Contra, Batman the Brave and the Bold. They've done DuckTales Remastered. Yeah, they sort of went over the games in the video that we're watching right now. So if you'd like, you can go to their Kickstarter. It's just Shantae Half-Genie Hero. If you can Google that with Kickstarter, you can watch their video there. They currently have $243,000 of $250 met their $400,000 goal. $400,000 goal. This has been 8 days, it looks like. It's 8 days in. I think they'll make their goal. I think they'll be.
Oh, they'll
okay.
make their goal. The theory behind Kickstarter is if you make at least half of your goal within the first couple of days, which they did, then you'll get your game backed up. It's like been pretty much studied
as far as statistics go.
Yeah, statistically, like it's proven that as long as you get half of it, your goal achieved. So it looks awesome. Like really, just if you love 2D platform games, like this game just looks amazing and fun. I play the other older games; they play just as good. I am just really excited for this game. It looks really fun and cool, and a lot of the goals are awesome. I wish that it could be as successful as the Mighty Number 9, but
yeah, Mighty Number 9 is just kind of blew it away. But
it's
still
just blowing up.
It's a little bit under the radar. It's not a lot of things that it's not something that people are really familiar with. But the art's beautiful. I'm totally on board with it. If we look down here, they're planning to have it available for every platform: Xbox One, Wii U, PS Vita, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Steam, Vita TV, and PlayStation 3. So that's a pretty lofty goal. I hope they can get that. If you can browse their Kickstarter, I know down here they have their goals here, which you can see. There's a lot of different outfits that Shantae may have access to if we get to 700,000, one of which being a ninja, one being a bikini, of course. Bonus character will be available at 600,000.
Yeah.
The risky boots will be available
and that's the antagonist throughout the whole entire series.
Yeah. And then they sort of have a bunch of question marks after that, but still look cool. A bonus chapter, another bonus chapter, and another bonus chapter, and then lots of other maybe cool little things like costumes or extra characters may be available. And then, of course, as Kickstarter is, there's lots of different types of backing up that you can do and a lot of different rewards. So thanks for letting me know about that. Maybe I might throw $5 at it.
Well, you can to get the game. It's just $15 $15 just to get the game, and that includes a download code for what platform of your choice. So if you decide you want to get for the PS4 or for PC, which I'll get for the PC, they'll get you a download. And $15 for a game that looks like this, I don't know why you wouldn't, and you want it to succeed, why not just throw $15 at it? Because I already did, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, and that's awesome, man. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. I really appreciate that. I have a game that I want to spotlight that I think looks really cool. I know it's right up Craig's alley. It's a really multiplayer game that I'm going to bring up here. It's called Hammerwatch, and I'm just going to allow people to sort of look at it, and we'll discuss it as it goes. But for those who aren't watching, just listen to the podcast, Hammerwatch is sort of like it reminds me of a pixelated Gauntlet game, in a little bit different way. You're a wizard, you can be a warrior, you can be an archer, what have you. You'll have spells and abilities that are pixelated. You can destroy barrels, you can get gold and items, keys, you have health and mana and potions, all this kind of stuff. And it's multiplayer. It's up to 4 players, and which is great. Your abilities, it has numbers above heads, which I know Craig loves.
So many numbers.
Love
numbers.
It gets really crazy. It gets to the point where you get really powerful, and the amount of enemies on screen gets to be ridiculous. But as there are more enemies, your powers and abilities become more ridiculous as well. You can see chain lightning just can destroy up to 20. You can see the rogue who spins around and throws a bunch of daggers everywhere. The warrior's really cool. He can dash through a bunch of enemies and hurt a lot of them. There's a bunch of traps. You have to figure out a bunch of puzzles while you're getting destroyed by monsters. It's basically a dungeon exploring game in the vein of the new Baldur's Gate, and it's really, really cool. I love the art, man. The art is just awesome. And you can find secret stages in the vein of Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which it kind of looks like.
Yeah.
As far as the overworld map is concerned. What about you, Craig? I mean, is this the first instance you've been seeing of this?
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen a trailer for this game. I mean, there's so many cool games out there. It just looks so fun. Really, legitimately a fun game. I would love to play this with 4 of my friends, because I remember playing Gauntlet on the 64 and in the arcade
that destroyed me.
all
Gauntlet
the time.
On 64, man.
it's such a fun game, and like this is a game, like you said, very reminiscent of Gauntlet, and the art style is so cool. Like, I really want to play this game. When does it come out, Trent?
It's out. You can purchase it.
Is it out?
You can play it. It was greenlit on Steam, so it is available on Steam. It's one of the games that was on my radar that got greenlit recently. So if you want to purchase it, go ahead and buy it on Steam. I'm gonna find out how much it is. It's $10 if you want to get it.
Well, $10.
It's only $10. So I know, Craig, I just ruined your life there.
So good.
If you can find some friends, local 4-player co-op game, get some plug-and-play Xbox 360 controllers and just go at it. That game just looks incredible to me. You can also play online. Don't even worry about it. You can play up to 4 players online. And I think I'm going to purchase it. I haven't played it yet. Like you said, there's a lot of games that just, what can you do?
There's so many games.
I think we have one more to spotlight here, and this is something that we just sort of came up with right before the cast started. We was just like, oh, Craig actually found this. Do you want to talk about it a little bit, Craig?
Yeah, I was looking for like cool indie games or new games that are being developed, and this game has just been recently, like very recently, like August 18th is when they had like a trailer for it. The game is called Nadia Was Here, and it looks like a 16 color palette RPG game. I know, RPG, like that's all I talk about. And it's got a lot of puzzles. Just the game itself looks very cool. Like it kind of reminds me of my Hotline Miami a little bit.
The color palette definitely is reminiscent of it. I agree.
And it just looks really fun and cool and just interesting because right now there's only like 40 people that like it off their Facebook group. And I just think this is a game that's going to blow up. You're going to hear a lot about off of like Kotaku and other gaming sites because it just looks like an older like Game Boy like Advance or Game Boy Color
almost looks
RPG.
like a fusion between a Game Boy Color and Game Boy game. For those who aren't able to see, the color palette is very red. There's red, green, purple. It's very dysfunctional colors that you wouldn't expect to go together. The people are like, their faces are red colored. Mm-hmm. Their hair's like, the skin's purple, hair's red. It's really interesting. As it says on the video, it's coming in 2014. You can go to jajaben, JAJABEN.com to look into that. And then, it does look interesting. It's on my radar now. I know that you play RPGs. You'll probably be the one to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Probably want to play it. It does have a very cool 16 color palette to it, which you don't see that. I mean, there's a lot of room for old school callback RPGs out there, but there's not enough in my book. Keep them coming. I'll play them. I always like to at least mess around with games like that. So
yeah.
I'm gonna wrap it up here. I think what we'll do is let's talk about what we've been playing really quickly, and then we'll go over our favorite gaming moment of Salt Lake Comic Con. What do you think?
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
All right, what have you been playing? One game. Just pick one.
One game? Oh gosh. Okay, one game I've been playing. Like I'm bad, Trent. I'm really bad. Okay, so you know how I have like a bunch of new games I need to play and still beat.
Yeah, I don't know that feeling at all.
Yeah, I know. Like all these new games I've gotten and that are really fun and played. I've been playing a Sega CD game that I've already beaten already.
Well, what is it?
It's Lunar Eternal Blue 2.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. I know you love the Lunar series.
That game is so fun.
Series, man.
I haven't played that game in ages, and it's like I've played the PlayStation 1 version, and that game is amazing. But I've never actually touched
an article on
the
it, don't you?
CD.
On our website?
Yeah, I do. And the Sega CD version of that game is so different, and it's so fun. I'm thinking about streaming it just to show people how ahead of its time it was for an RPG game, because it had actually voice acting, anime cinematic videos throughout the game, and it's just a really fun story-driven game that basically took from the first Lunar game, which wasn't very the story was very bland, but made it into something far more interesting, and now has a cult following very similar to Earthbound.
Earthbound.
I know. We can talk. We'll do an Earthbound cast
We'll
one
do
day.
an Earthbound cast from beginning to end for sure.
I know, but just like if you've never heard of the Lunar series and you love JRPGs just like me, I highly recommend either picking up and finding the PS1 version of Lunar 2, or Eternal Blue Complete, or even like I have an actual Sega CD physical copy of Lunar 2, Eternal Blue. Just pick it up. It's a really fun game. It's very interesting, and you can see how many RPGs have taken from that game because it's so ahead of its time, and it definitely made the genre even better because of it.
Awesome, man. You and your RPGs always come.
I
know. Well, I've been playing, and it's sort of bad too. Well, in a way, it's not. It's a year-old game this month. I've been catching up on my Borderlands 2 for my 360. A few of my best friends, the Pincock brothers.
Yeah.
Eric Pincock being a contributor to saltpop.net. They love that game, and I want to catch up to them, and I want to start playing with them, and they only play it on 360 as much as I said, hey, you should buy it for PC. So I've been trying to catch up to that. We'll see what happens with Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out next week. I'm playing a lot of that, which has been really fun. Can't suggest Borderlands 2 enough. And interestingly enough, I was going through my complete game library the other night. I'm like, what can I play for a few minutes? And I stumbled across Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which I bought on XBLA a while ago. And
that game's fun.
Oh man, it's so much fun. I never really invested much time in it at the time I purchased it. It was before I bought my Fight Stick, which was a long time ago. That's like a few years ago. But I was like, man, I've never played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on my Fight Stick. So I busted out my Fight Stick, started up that game, and man, it's so much better on a Fight Stick. It's so much fun. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm mashing buttons a little bit on that game.
Yeah, you have to. That game, I feel like the learning curve for that game is so high compared to other fighting games, especially compared to Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like, I remember, like, I bought that game too on the Xbox Live, and I got my ass kicked all the time because it's such a hard game, and you have to legitimately, like, dodge and do different things and figure out how a certain character is going to act. There's so much more. The learning curve, like I said, is so high for that game compared to other fighting games.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm just like, oh, if I pop them up in the air, I could do a mid-air combo. I mean, of course you can do that. I've played a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but the execution is a lot harder in that game.
Yeah, certainly.
And it's just fun, because the character roster, you don't see it a lot, and it was just fun experimenting with. I'm not going to take it seriously or anything. It's a pretty old game that's pretty dead. That just has a cult following now, and the people who do play it are super good at it. So.
Seriously.
But yeah, that was really fun. I just been sort of playing around Castlevania Harmony of Despair. So just playing around with my old school game library on my 360. And it's been a lot of fun. Next week, though, you'll hear about new games. Definitely. Grand Theft Auto 5, I think I'm going to definitely play. And hopefully we can get in a stream of Amnesia going this weekend. We'll talk about that probably a little bit later. We'll try to plan that. Craig, favorite video game moment, Salt Lake Comic Con, go.
Oh, favorite video game moment?
Yeah, video game related. Yeah, I know. If you want me to go first, I can.
Yeah, go first. I
right.
had to think about this.
I talked about this on the Salt Pop One Shot that we had last night, actually. But I want to talk about it a little bit more here. Two gaming moments. There are these Kid Robot Street Fighter blind boxes that you can buy. I know in Utah you can buy them at every Graywell store. They are the only Kid Robot retailer that I know of in Utah. I think they're the only one in Utah, actually. Maybe something. But if you can find one in your area, go get them. Blind boxes are super fun. They're super addicting. And I actually got the Chaser in the series Round 2 Street Fighter blind box. And what a Chaser is the one you go after. They're the ones that have the question mark on the box, but you can sort of tell who it is by a shadow, the silhouette on the box. Really, really rare. Up on the stream right now, you can see my Akuma that I got. Yeah, I know you got one, right, Craig?
Yeah, I got a Sakura.
Oh, she's right there. Her skirt is really short.
You could see her panties. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So Akuma's really cool. He is one of the rare ones. And in fact, I went to San Diego Comic-Con this year, and I got the Shin Akuma version, which you can see up on the stream. They actually have another version of Zangief, which you can see here. I know this is ridiculous. I have all of these right here.
You're so ridiculous with your
I have the Zangief,
Street Fighter,
the two-player Zangief color, and then they had a Mecha Zangief at San Diego Comic-Con, which is really, really cool. Look those up online. They're really awesome. I love Street Fighter, and I buy way too many of them. I have like several Ryus and Chun-Li's here and a Vega and stuff. And then I bought these Legend of Zelda prints. They're very, very small. They're 3 for $5. They're really cool, though. They're really unique. It's these reimagined versions of Link in different universes. And the 3 universes are Metroid, what Link would look like in sort of a Samus-inspired suit. Old, grown-up adult Link from Majora's Mask. So it's like Ocarina of Time, but if it was Majora's Mask, that Link all grown up in a different universe. I guess a different timeline, you could say. He looks awesome. He's got a cloak. He's all battle-worn. And he's got all the items on his back. Really, really cool. And then my favorite one was the Studio Ghibli version, or Ghibli version of Link, who's holding a boar's head. And instead of the boar's head from Princess Mononoke, it's actually Ganon's.
This is so cool.
Which is really, really cool. So yeah, that was my favorite video game moments. What about you, man?
I talked about this too on our one-shot for Salt Lake City Comic Con. I just posted a link. It's basically the guys from Arizona who did the playing card pixelated games, or playing cards that are pixelated. This is a Kickstarter account that they just did and actually got funded. It's done now, though. It's their Press Start Pocket 2 to 6-player 8-bit tabletop battle. And just the way the game looks and all the cards, it just looks really cool. And I wish I had bought it, this game that they had at Salt Lake City Comic Con. But I would recommend going to their website and ordering this. You can even get it on their...
It's home run games.
You can get it on the iOS and Android. It's just really cool to see these guys that are not necessarily from Salt Lake City, but within the region.
Arizona is where they're from. Mesa,
they're from Arizona. But all these guys just around the Salt Lake City area, regardless, like around Utah, are coming to Salt Lake City Comic Con and doing what they do in their specific area, as well as in Utah, just to see how cool they are. I mean, like right across from these guys, there is a booth where they did prints for like video games. Like one of the guys, he loves Dark Souls, and he had like a bunch of Dark Souls posters with like different characters. One being of the one of the hardest dragons on that game. I can't think of his name. Like I finally beat him like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, the Black Dragon?
Yeah, the Black Dragon. He had a really cool poster for him. It's just, this is probably my favorite thing just because it's interesting, because I love board games. I love video games that are or board games that are inspired by video games, and video games that are inspired by board games as well. So it's just an awesome game. I highly recommend looking into it and supporting these guys, because they're really cool, and supporting local talents and unknown indie talents is what I love to do.
Yeah, man, they were really cool. They have a trading cards. Well, they had those trading cards, but they also have playing cards, just like a normal that you'd use for poker. But they had reimagined versions. I'm going to put it up on the stream here. I actually bought one. The coolest thing is they come in this 8-bit sleeve that is reminiscent of the old NES games. You'd put them in those little black plastic sleeves, your old NES cartridges. They made those for the deck of cards. Really, really cool. As you can see there, I'm just going to pull out. And you go to Home Run Games Kickstarter, and you can see that. And the one I bought is the Legend of Zelda inspired one. As you can see there, it's sort of reminiscent of the cover art for the first Legend of Zelda game. And on the cartridge, they're 8-bit playing cards. I'll go ahead and open them up. They're really, really awesome. And they sort of did like 8-bit renditions of what the suits are, and the kings, and the Joker. I'm just going to show you a little bit. For example, here's what the ace looks like. You can tell that's definitely a spade. And then they have the queens and the kings. They're all 8-bit renditions, which are really, really cool. Here's a jack. I love the jack because it looks like the Mega Man style.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool.
And the diamonds. So it's really, really, really awesome. I couldn't help but buy one. They have sort of a Link-inspired guy for the king there. For the clubs. I was like, man. I was on the last day on Saturday, and I was just like, you know what? These guys have an awesome product that really struck me, especially with the 8-bit case. I'm going to go support them over there. And they got a lot of attention. The whole convention, every single day, people were coming over to them, asking them about their deck of cards, and they got a lot of attention, which was great. It's great to see. Please support them. They were really cool guys. We got to talk to them a little bit. And go buy one of these online. I believe you can buy them online. They're going to have a Space Invaders one that comes out soon where they're all the cards are black and are like Space Invaders in space, which is really awesome. I think, Craig, that's going to be it for us on episode 3. We got a lot of content in there. If you want to follow us, you can go to Twitch TV/SaltPop. We are there. We also have an alternate channel that we may start doing more stuff on, Twitch TV/2PCOOP, which you can see sort of on there on our logo, 2-player co-op, abbreviated. Please go to our Facebook, facebook.com/saltpop, where you can like us there and get all the updates. You can find out when we're going live. Craig and I both have Twitters. Craig, what's your Twitter?
It's AGGROX Craig.
And
that's pretty much it.
I'm at the wrong Trent. You can find me on Twitter. I tweet every so often, not so bad.
I tweet pretty much all the time, and 50% of the time it's about video games. 25% of the time it's about comics and movies. The other 25% it's about sports. So
yeah, so you win 75% of the time with Craig.
Yeah, you win 70% of the time. Yeah.
Also, subscribe to our YouTube, youtube.com/saltpopofficial. It's where you're going to find all our archive videos in a playlist there under Salt Pop. Think Salt Pop as a channel, and we're just sort of a program under the channel. I can't stress subscribing and liking enough. It really helps us out. It helps the people that we focus on and talk about on our cast, such as the guys we were just talking about on Kickstarter, all the Kickstarters as well. It also helps statistics and helps us motivate us. It keeps the morale up. So
so like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll talk about you and how cool you are.
It keeps us going. And thanks so much for tuning in, guys. You can catch us every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Sometimes we'll start late, but we'll let you know on Facebook if you go ahead and like us there. But the scheduled time is for 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time every Wednesday night. Tune in then. Until then, see you guys later.